Hey everyone, my name is Mitchell Hora. My company is Continuum Ag. Welcome to the Johnson County Poor Farm, the historic poor farm up here just outside of Iowa City, Iowa. And this year I'm helping out with a little project. The Soil and Water Conservation District got a grant to do some urban conservation stuff out here. So we're trying to help learn about how do we get conservation in an urban environment. We're right on the edge of Iowa City, and we've got a variety of different things out here that I wanted to tell you about. So part of this project, we are doing some drainage management. So this farm just got tiled here recently. So here's all of our kind of tile lines and stuff. So they just got that tile put in order to help get some drainage going out here. Some of these soils are kind of heavy. So we want to make sure that when it rains a lot, we can get that water, taken care of, and we're not flooding out our plants. We want to make sure that we keep our crops really happy. So we got some tile going in and getting that water cleaned up. And then we got some stuff going on with soil health testing. That's what I'm doing. And that's what we're out here doing today, is doing some soil health testing. So we're looking at soil nutrients, but we're also looking at the biology in the soil as well. So what are those microbes doing? How do we make those microbes happy? And so that's what we're going for, and doing some measuring. We're taking soil samples twice a month. So that's the thing with this project. This is the only project like this anywhere in the world where we are taking this volume of samples and so consistent and in such a unique situation. So what we're doing is pulling samples twice a month for a whole year. So we're taking soil samples 24 times this year. Most farmers take samples once every 4 years or so. We're taking samples 24 times. And each of those samples are actually being split to 2 labs. So we're getting double the data because we're splitting to Brookside Labs and to Dr. Rick Haney's lab and having those tests run on it. So what we're looking at is trying to figure out how do soil parameters change throughout the growing season. How do nutrients come available? How does soil biology change? That kind of stuff. And what we're looking at is the difference between cover crop. So we can kind of see, I got some cover crop kind of growing here. I'm standing in, and here's my sample location, that flag right there. So we're taking samples just from this kind of zone with cover crop, and then right over here behind, it's all no cover crop. So we're going over here and we're taking samples not very far apart at all. So it's all the same, it's very consistent, and we're able to see the difference that the cover crop makes. It's all no-till, it's all very consistent, but all we're doing is changing one variable, and that's by adding cover crops. It's the first year of cover crops. This ground here's been no-till for a while, and I stuck my probe in the ground and pulled out just a chunk of soil, and right up close to the top there, and he's helping get some structure going for us. You can see some wormholes in here and some residue on top. I brushed aside most of the residue, but that's what we're wanting right here. Here's another guy, another worm coming out the other end. So we'll go and see what just right across the heavily tilled area, we'll go see what that looks like. Okay, so just pulled the samples for the cover crop area and the long-term no-till area. Now just walking across to the vegetable production. And at this farm, we've got a lot of the ground here is rented out to a local farming family, and they're raising corn and soybeans on it. Like I said, this year we've got our first year of a cereal rye cover crop, which will help us to overwinter and get us some coverage to keep stuff from erosion, improve water quality, get soil health going as well, get those worms brought back in, and make our soil happy. So we got that going, and then we're comparing to the vegetable production stuff. So at this farm, we've got a couple of acres of vegetables, and they're going to be expanding because the vegetables produced on this farm all go to feed local families in the community that need some help, providing for their families and having the food, some healthy food that they can feed themselves. So the food produced here goes to some of the local food pantries and organizations and that. So it's a pretty awesome story, and a great way for Johnson County to be able to give back to some of the local people. So looks like we got a pile here of some mulch that's going to be going on, some compost. And so out here we got a whole variety of different things that they've planted, or as far as different garden areas and different things that they're working on, a variety of different crops, and they're producing stuff almost all the time. So it's December now, so the production is stopped for the year, but we can still see some of the remnants out here. So here's showing kind of where I'm pulling samples from. So if we can see that the blue flag there is marking where I've got the one. So what we've got here is a cereal rye cover crop. You can see we got a tile line that went through it here now to get this stuff drained out. But so we're pulling samples from right there, all that rye. This is tilled because it's organic cover crops, so you're using tillage to get rid of the weeds. But now we got some cover crop back on there and try to keep some of that erosion from happening. And then we're pulling a sample from right here as well. And they just planted some cover crop on part of it here, but as you can see, there's some residue here left from the vegetable production. And so we got a nice little side-by-side here that we're testing out and see what is going on under the soil in four very different situations. So we're taking a lot of samples, and we'll have plenty of data to pass along and help a lot of people out, whether it be full-scale farming or vegetable production here as well. So gathering a lot of data, and we hope it helps a lot of people. Do this side-by-side, or a little trial to see what is going on with our structure here where we've had a bunch of tillage going on. So I'll dig this kind of up, and you can kind of see we're not really getting a good kind of chunk to come up like we had over in the no-till situation. It's helping to hold together because we got a lot of rye residue out here now. But trying to look at some structure here. It looks like we're pretty loose. We want to make sure that if we are using tillage, that we can keep that soil there. It's not in a good clod. Here, I got my clod from in the field. See where I can hold it, and we've got some structure. I got chunks here, chunks more so than over here where it's really loose. So that's just what we're doing with trying to learn more about tillage, and what it's doing to soil structure. So see this clod, I can break it up, but it falls into chunks, and that's what we want. We want to fall into pieces. See, we got a lot of wormholes and stuff in this too. It's really awesome. Some of this stuff over here, and it's okay that we got a lot of rye out here. I mean, you can see how thick it is, but that tillage is really hurting our structure a lot. So it's all a give and take. There's pros and cons to all of it, but we're just trying to learn and try to help some people out.